So yeah, this was a two-parter. Surprise! Hello viewers and welcome back to Media 13. My name is Jordan and I hope you're all having a great day. You'll probably remember about 2 weeks ago I talked about KYLO REN and more importantly his death in the Rise of SKYWALKER in what was going to be my final Star Wars video. However, as I was writing that script I realised it was far too long and I also wanted to have a segment talking about Ben Solo. So my genius idea thought, let's stretch out the Star Wars content just a little bit longer. Let's make this a two-parter. What could go wrong? Making a whole new script, that's exactly what could have went wrong. Now this video may not actually be as informative as what you're used to, because where we normally have around 2 hours of film to work around each character and their character arc, we've got around 10 minutes and a line of dialogue with Ben Solo, so we're going to have to try and make do with that. But not to worry folks, because after the conclusion of this battle on Kef Bir, the battle of light and dark within Kylo has also ended, and light has prevailed. The Rise of Skywalker has people on top of their rooftops shouting out issue after issue that the film supposedly has. Now I'm not saying it's flawless because no film is flawless, but it's not the mess that people try to make out, at least in my opinion. Actually yeah, that's another thing, almost forgot that. You know the drill, this is my opinion, you're entitled to yours, I want to hear it in the comments. If you don't like The Rise of Skywalker, that's completely fair. However, one of the biggest things I've seen come up time and time again is how the writers handled Ben Solo. The thing that we're obviously highlighting here is that yes, against all odds, Ben Solo was actually redeemed. But the question is, was it earned? Well, I think there's yes and no's to this. Personally, you know, I'm someone that leans towards the yes in the equation, but I'm open to both sides. You know, it's a pretty similar argument to the Vader and Anakin debate. Was Anakin redeemed? There's a subsection of people who would believe that Anakin and Ben's actions as their respective dark side forms should be held against them, but I actually disagree. We've seen how the methods used by the dark side can twist and corrupt your mind. We've seen those horrendous methods used before in Star Wars. It's not as if this is anything new. For me at least, the dark side doesn't change you, rather it recreates you in a sense. The real you is trapped somewhere inside your own body and a lesser known, more corrupt version of yourself is left in your place. A version of yourself filled with the corruption and the hatred that you have tried to suppress, only this time it's unleashed and amplified to 100. In a complex way, it's almost as if it's two people occupying one body. Two extensions of the same mind, if you will. The internal struggle in Kylo, or Ben, at this one moment after Rey heals him is present all over his face. He should be angry, ready to keep fighting, but instead, he's done. This whole sequence on what remains of the Kef Bir scene is beautiful because it's a complete reversal of the moment we saw in The Force Awakens, whilst keeping quite a few cues and also having a few callbacks in the lines that are spoken. I love this whole segment with all my heart. It's such an emotionally impactful moment because this is how we prayed the Episode 7 encounter could have gone. Han has the moment, not with Kylo, but with Ben, his son. And this time, rather than Kylo come back out and kill his father, Ben stays. The dark side within him has finally been laid to rest. I have no shame in admitting that this scene brings me to tears when I see it. It's such a beautifully made sequence and I'm so glad we've got it in the film. Just for clarification, yes, I know that it was Leia that was responsible for bringing Ben back to the light. Contrary to belief, I'm not a complete idiot. Unfortunately, after this moment though is where it gets a little disappointing, and I'm sorry to say that I'm gonna have to complain just a little bit. Now, I know, calm down, I know the channel is all about film positivity and everything like that, but I can't consciously talk about this character in good faith without bringing up this little tiny issue that I have. Let me just clarify real quick. I am okay with the screen time that he gets, okay? I accept that, you know, you've got to cut a film, you've got to get rid of stuff in a film. However much screen time we got of him, that was completely fine. Personally, I wouldn't have killed him, but I'm satisfied with how the story ends. It's a necessary sacrifice. My issue is from the fact that we don't actually hear enough from him. From this moment on Kef Bir, we have one word from Ben. It's not even an insanely important line, it's just him expressing pain. I'm not sure what happened, whether this was just somehow overlooked, but I don't see how this is the man destined to bring our heroine back from the edge of death, and we don't get more than one line. But that's enough complaining, I told you it was minor, now let's get back to the good stuff. We've always sensed the conflict within Kylo, much like Rey did. We've known him for 3 films, and his emotion just as long. We've seen the pain that he suffered since that day on Starkiller Base, and it's haunted him since. Killing his father was not as straightforward as he had hoped, and we see that in the character growth continuing throughout the 3 films. To end the reign of Kylo Ren over Ben Solo's body by having this confrontation from The Force Awakens finally come full circle is emotionally beautiful, and it's something that tethers and bookends this trilogy fantastically. His transition from Supreme Leader of the First Order to the Jedi he was meant to become is fantastically done, if a little short. For what little screen time Ben Solo actually has, we feel as if we've known this person for a long time, because we've seen glimpses along the way. No matter how far he was, we always saw his human side with Rey. I bet you're getting sick of this. I somehow managed to bring her up in every single video. But her act of compassion after a brief moment of submitting to the dark side is amazing. It's a beautiful moment, not only thematically, but also from a character development standpoint. Whenever we've seen Rey and Kylo together, half of the time they've been fighting. This time, against all the odds, Rey had finally won. She had ended this and could have moved on, but that wasn't enough. Ben deserved more, and she knew this, which is why she tried one last thing. She killed Kylo Ren, but she saved Ben Solo. She brought him back from what most likely would have been his death. That final act, that true moment of compassion, actually awoke something within Kylo. And that very something was Ben, the same boy who had been repressed by his anger and his fear so many years ago. And however little time we have with Ben, we get such a strong idea of the compassionate man he truly is. His care for others shines through like we've never seen before. I don't know about you, but while I feel we could have possibly had more time with him, I feel like I've known that character for much longer than I did. Maybe that's because we have known him a bit longer. Now I know I've said this is finally Ben Solo coming back, but for me, and I think it's pretty obvious, we have seen flashes. Han did get through to Ben in The Force Awakens. I think that's pretty clear for a lot of people to see. We also do see that glimpse of Ben shining through in the aftermath of their fight with the Praetorian Guards. It may still be Kylo on the outside, but those are Ben's words being spoken. He still wants Rey by his side. Like I said in the previous video, he was willing to reset everything just for her. So to summarise, yes, I think Ben Solo was redeemed. You may disagree with that, but this is my truth. These are my opinions. That is the point of these videos. For me, in every sense of the word redeemed, Ben Solo earned it. Am I a little bit biased because he did bring my favourite character back from the dead? Very possibly, but we're not going to discuss that right now. But Ben Solo was redeemed for the sole reason that he was not in control of himself during the first 2 films. The conflict in this trilogy didn't come from Kylo and Rey, it came from Kylo and Ben. It came from Kylo being on the fence. It was Ben continuously trying to come back. It was the pure side of his personality realising that this was wrong. The dark side was just too powerful for him to come back into control until Kef Bir. The reality is, we could have had more. We could have had an extra 30 minutes on the film that saw us have a bit more time with Ben. But we didn't. But then what is the point in complaining? These are amazing characters that we have been blessed with by Disney and Star Wars. They are fantastically developed characters that we have been able to see grow over a course of a trilogy, over comic books. We were able to watch the start of their journeys, and that is something that should be acknowledged and treasured by fans. I see a lot of hate towards this trilogy as a whole, and I want to take a minute to talk about that. I get that you don't like this trilogy, okay? If you're someone that doesn't like the sequels, that's perfectly okay. But to say that these films have nothing is just insane, and it's wrong. I know that I'm all about the idea that your opinion matters, but these films have more than what you think. They mean something to someone. For me, these films have got me through bad periods in my life. The characters have got me through bad periods in my life. I was able to connect with a character at a time I didn't really think I could connect with anyone. And of course, it's going to hurt to see people disliking my favourite character, but that is to be expected. But to hate on them and to berate those that do like them, what are you doing? This, like it or not, is part of your franchise. You like the original trilogy, guess what? This sequel trilogy is a part of that, whether you like it or not. You might not enjoy it, but you're going to have to accept it, because prequel trilogy original trilogy and the sequel trilogy are Star Wars. Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, Rey Skywalker are Star Wars. I apologise for sidetracking there, but I really felt that had to be said. And even if you're a sequel fan that is unhappy with the Rise of Skywalker, look at what it sets up. This trilogy isn't a complete story for these characters. Rey's story is just beginning. Finn's story is just beginning. And Ben's story is just beginning. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see what comes next. And that does it. That concludes the sequel trilogy video essay series. I want to quickly thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart for the support you've gave me during this. This channel was on the cusp of being shut down because I just didn't see it going anywhere. And for the sudden resurgence and the support to come in the way it did is just unreal. I genuinely can't believe that people are tuning in every other week to hear my opinions about films. I will be completely honest with you, moving forward I am slightly worried. Now let me just be frank, the Star Wars content isn't over, there is more coming, even this year there is more coming. But I don't know how many of you know this, I'm not a Star Wars centric channel. I will be looking at other types of films, and that's going to be starting in 2 weeks time with We Love This Movie. But like I said, that's not the end of Star Wars content, I'm not revealing anything right now until I have a script finalised, until I have other stuff prepared for it, because I think this is going to be a big one. I mean, this is scheduled for end of the year, and I'm still in early preparations for it because I realise how much of a task this is going to be to prepare. But if you enjoyed this video, if you've enjoyed this 4-part series, feel free to like if you enjoyed, share it with your friends if you want to spread the word about the channel and spread the word about what we're doing here. It's all about film positivity. Get down in the comments and let me know your opinions on Ben Solo and the Rise of Skywalker as a whole, because let's not forget, these last 2 videos have been focused around that film. But once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this mini-series, and for all you that are sticking around after the Star Wars content, this is not the end.